Hello everyone. In the last videos, we did the dictation practice up to exercise 15. The speed was 60 words per minute. And today we will do the dictation practice of exercise 16 and exercise 17. The speed will be 70 words per minute. For doubts, you can write in comment box and you can like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. So get ready everyone for the dictation practice of exercise 16 first. Tomorrow, we will celebrate the Republic Day. On this auspicious occasion, I am happy to greet you all, my fellow citizens at home and abroad, and convey to you my good wishes. This is no doubt a joyous occasion, and we celebrate it with all enthusiasm. But this is also an occasion for calm introspection about where we stand and in what direction we are going. A few years back, our country was suffering from a deficit in food grains, and some people abroad had written us off as a country which could not be saved. In their view, our agriculture had no future and we would be exposed to recurring famines. These prophets of gloom had reckoned without our untiring Kisan, and they have been proved false. This country, which was producing 5 crore tons of food grains in 1950, has now reached a level of over 20 crore tons despite of floods and other natural calamities in several parts of the country. The credit for this goes to the Kisans, the vast majority of whom are small and marginal farmers. The developmental efforts over the last 30 years, which have been channelized by successive 5-year plans, have resulted in the execution of many major, medium, and minor irrigation projects all over the country. The assured water supply from these projects, as well as production of fertilizers, pesticides, and high yielding strains, have all aided the Kisan in ushering in an era of plenty. Because of the record output of food grains and industrial raw materials, we have been able to achieve a measure of price stability and contain inflation. Food sufficiency is among the major factors that have helped the country to sustain and strengthen its political and economic independence. We cannot, however, afford to be complacent. In the coming years, we will have to place agriculture on a sounder and more viable base. We will have to assure fair prices for the farmers' produce and reduce the cost of inputs that will encourage the Kisan to work harder and show better results. There has to be an intensive study of the agroecology of every area, and we must build up self reliance of each area in order to ensure the full development of its potential. If farmers, scientists, extension workers, developmental administrators, mass media agencies, and above all, our political leaders will all work together, we can soon regain the old image of our as a land full of milk and honey. While this achievement is certainly within our reach, a radical change in the entire value system of our urban societies is essential for attaining this goal. The brain drain and the depletion of resources from the village to the city must not only be stopped but must be reversed. The imperative need is for a happy combination of brain and brawn for achieving the rural prosperity. Those living in villages and our scientists and technologists who choose to work in villages must be provided with adequate facilities. The basic minimum needs of the rural people must be fulfilled without further delay. In the welter of demands and agitations by the urban pressure groups for an ever increasing share in the national cake, the needs of the poor farmer, the real producer of wealth in our country, are apt to be overlooked. Let us not forget that India will prosper only if the tiller of the soil lives and prospers. Our hardworking peasantry have proved time and again that they are ready to adopt new technology provided they are helped to do so. It is now the responsibility of every citizen in this country to ensure that our farmers are able to produce more food from less land. This presupposes considerable attention in safeguarding our basic agricultural assets like soil, water, flora, and fauna so that productivity can be improved without harming the long term production potential of soil and water. I have had occasion to fly over the Himalayas in recent months, and I was shocked to see the extent of deforestation that has taken place. What was Once all greenery has been reduced to barren rocks. Such denudation and the resultant soil erosion pose a grave danger to our future. Floods and droughts are caused by thoughtless destruction of forests. We should ensure that in our zeal to bring more land under the plow, we do not disturb the delicate balance of nature. We need to create new forest belts to be maintained in perpetuity. I am happy that the state governments are now imposing restrictions on the felling of trees and preventing further denudation of forest areas. But this is largely a matter for community involvement and initiative, and I hope our people, particularly in the rural areas, will take up this work in right earnest. If today many people still go without enough food, it is not because of lack of food, but rather because of lack of purchasing power. Hence, our agricultural plans will have to aim at generating more and more employment in the rural areas, in addition to providing food for our growing population. Stop. Now translate this exercise in English and get ready for the next one, exercise 17. I recall how, after years of struggle and suffering, India has won independence and shaken off the foreign yoke. All of us who took part in this struggle did so with the idea that when independence was achieved, there would be good government in India. When we accepted partition, it was with the sincere desire that we should thereby be enabled to work out our own salvation unhampered by the factors which rendered progress impossible. At the same time, we wished Pakistan well and hoped that under settled conditions, when they realized that we were really brothers and not two nations of different faiths and ideologies, they would come back to us. But the poison has been injected too far by the ceaseless propaganda of hate and of the two nation theory. The result has been that no Sikh in Hindu can live in peace and safety in Pakistan, a fact which had its reactions in that no Muslim could live without fear and East Punjab. Nevertheless, we have to so order our conduct that no further religious quarrels taint our history. We must all live in amity and goodwill and must not tolerate Gunda Raj, which is being perpetrated in various areas owing to the spirit of lawlessness which the last few weeks have generated and promoted. After alien rule, to which both the rulers of the states and the people were equally subjected, has been removed, all those who are left belong to one family. There can therefore be no quarrel with the princess. They are ours and we can make them understand and appreciate our point of view. But before you can make them understand and ask them to relieve themselves of the burden which they are shouldering, it is your bounden duty to make yourselves worthy of taking over those responsibilities. It is not enough to ask for responsible government. You must know how to digest it. No government can function without popular support. Their two states are living examples of how, in the fitness and fullness of time, popular unity and strength had made the rulers part with power. This shows that we must change our method to suit the new circumstances which the departure of align rule has created. I myself took part in many a fight with rulers in the past, but I always told them, and my struggle was not with the rulers as such, but the days of vilifying princess, calling them names, and maligning them are gone. It is not only a waste of energy to concentrate on them, but also needless irritation in a profitless undertaking. Our methods now have to be guided by a more friendly approach and a spirit of understanding and goodwill. No government anywhere in India can be carried on without popular support. I am sure the princes themselves realize that their interests lie in taking the people with them. Why should we therefore pick quarrels or choose the path of ill will or hostility? I appeal to you to cultivate a proper sense of moral values. I ask you, do a little heart searching. We can only advise you, but you can act on that advice only according to your capacity. If you are selfless workers, you will get your reward. But if you become involved in mutual jealousies and religious quarrels, you can only do damage to the cause which you profess to uphold. When we achieved independence, it was with a view to carving out for India a place in the world polity and to raising to stature and the standard of living of the people. Instead, we find ourselves fully preoccupied with the task of meeting the most gigantic problem of refugee relief that has ever faced man in human history. This is not the time to involve ourselves in needless disputes, nor can we ever afford to follow the mirage of many stands like Khalistans and Sikhistans or Jetistans. If we are not careful and become a prey to these inimical ideals, we can only succeed in turning India into a Pagalistan. It is therefore up to you to forget your mutual quarrels and behave with a sense of responsibility and in a spirit of cooperation and goodwill. We have formidable tasks before us. Attacks on railways, looting, and the part which sometimes even the military and the police play in such incidents merely show that we are face to face with moral bankruptcy, which, if not checked, must mean downfall and ruin. Remember, if a hungry man dies of starvation, he dies without a stain on his honor. But one who steals to feed himself virtually suffers from living death. He has not followed the path of honor and glory, but that of shame and disgrace. If we want popular government, we must build up popular support and strength. Princes want respect and reverence. They will gracefully yield to popular demand if they find that a sense of responsibility and popular support prompts and popular organizations to achieve its goals promptly. Stop now, translate this exercise in English and check from the screen. Thank you.